This is John Spartan with the Own It podcast, and today I have a special friend. Actually, it's the person that I've known the longest on this island because it's someone that I served with in the United States Navy, so we are fellow veterans. John Miller, great to have you on the podcast. Dude, this guy is a life coach for the corporate environment, basically getting people to run their businesses the best and most efficiently as humanly possible. And now what he wants to do is he wants to take what he knows and the knowledge that he has and basically bring it into the personal sector, like what I do. I'm training people on a physical level and making people the greatest versions of themselves. You want to do that to people on an individual basis and help people and touch them in a different way, not just in a corporate environment. Did I get that right?
Yeah, more or less. First up, before we dive into anything, I want to say thank you very much, John, for having me on. I'm extremely flattered at this. I'm still kind of building myself up and building my business. I spent most of my time in the corporate world helping people when they first get into iGaming become the best professionals that they can, learning their systems. And I've been watching yourself from afar. I've been on the island now for just about 20 years, something like that. And I've been watching you from afar with your videos, your workout videos and stuff. My daughter came down and actually was in the gym with you, did some workouts a little bit.
Lord's Gym.
Yeah, and she still talks about you quite a bit. She's quite fond of you, we don't meet up as much as we should. We should meet up a lot more. We haven't really had a lot of time to kind of hook up the way we should. But whenever we do, it always seems like there was no time taken away. It's kind of, we were just there, we're on it. Last Sunday, I had the privilege of sitting and watching you do your podcast with Super Scott Dixon, which was, if you haven't seen that, you definitely need to watch it.
But listen, I was super happy that you came by, and I wanted to tell you this, is that even though that, I'm speaking from like a bro code or whatever it is, but when dudes don't talk to one another, and they're from maybe distance or from afar, know that we still want you to succeed and we want you to win. I got this guy named Rob that's back at home in New York, and man, every single day I just want this guy to kill it, crush it, win, be the best version of himself. He has a wife now, kids, and I'm just totally excited and happy, but we don't talk every day. And even though we didn't talk too much, I just want you to know, I always wanted you to win, and we're bros, man. I'm happy to have been your friend and met you, had you in my life, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. And also, thank you for having me on because, it's sort of, life's been really crazy for me, sort of coming into my own and kind of using you as inspiration to kind of chase for my dreams and that kind of thing. And sort of recently seeing, you doing the podcast and you putting yourself out there, I'm starting to kind of trying to emulate that myself. So giving me the opportunity to come on to your podcast here, especially with your foundation that's going on, something that's truly inspiring, giving back and helping kids kind of find alternatives to drugs and things like that, I think is really awesome. And I want to do anything I can to help, and it kind of co-aligns with my sort of beliefs as well. So
cool. Let's drive you down and put you into this. What is it that you actually do for companies? Quick, don't go too much into it. Don't get too involved into it. And then tell us a little bit about your situation and what brings you to where you are now.
Yeah, so primarily I worked in customer service for the past 15 years or so in the capacity as a team leader. Through being a team leader, you're managing agents' KPIs, you're bringing them into the companies, getting them used to being professionals and things like that. I found that I'm really good at coaching. For some reason, there's something, I think it's my natural curiosity and asking questions and trying to get to learn people and understand how they work, understand what their motivations are. I've been able to kind of align what their personal goals are with what the company's views are and find this place where they meet.
Right on.
So that you don't have to push people into their job. You just kind of get the best versions out of them. I think the word is like intrapreneurs. So you make people feel like they actually are owners of the business and they have kind of providence in what happens, even if they don't really do,
Wow, that's really, I didn't know that. See, I always felt like when you were in an office job, you like kind of knew your place. You actually gave them that like, I feel like I have this kind of power?
I kind of like didn't ever ask anybody permission. What I did is I just knew that like how I wanted to be treated. I was really lucky. I had 3 really good mentors for this company called Overland Health. And they were a medical legal firm. I spent about 5.5 years there with them.
Okay.
And basically the director, Ben Brown, he was like a Salesforce seller as well. He sold like Salesforce CRM systems.
Oh wow.
And he was really keen on people like taking the reins and learning. So he basically taught me business, like by learning how the CRM and how different departments work together, and where they struck together, where they communicated together, where there was friction and that kind of stuff. He forced me to like learn this, and he gave me the reins to kind of like go do a project, make it happen. And me being ADHD, everybody's always trying to hold you back, and he's saying, no, go do it,
ADHD, let me stop you there. ADHD, so I have this attention deficit disorder. What do you feel like this is? I mean, like this is a word that really gets slung around a lot, and I feel like maybe we all have it to some degree. Maybe not. I don't know. What I do know is that I feel like this is like some word that gets thrown around. I mean, and then there was a big moment in life where a lot of people were actually hopping people full of medication on it, and actually ADHD. You remember when ADHD drugs were getting sold and doctors were getting these benefit? They were getting kickbacks. Then the kickbacks went through, and they were finding out that doctors were getting kickbacks. So they kind of stopped that, and then instead of getting kickbacks, they were getting trips around the world, Mercedes Benzes, and gifts, if you might, and that's just to push this drug. So listen, I feel that I am an ADHDer as well, because I have the traits totally, but I never took medication on it. So in reality, I never took medication.
I'm so sorry, dude.
It's okay. So I never took medication. Have you ever taken medication for this?
Yeah. So first off, I have the actual clinical ADHD. I earned the letters. I went to the doctors. I got the blood taken. I ended up with all the little diodes on my head and being kept awake and and that kind of thing. So obviously I was a high functioning child. I had a very high IQ, but wasn't able to do things in school. So I go to school, set the curve on examination.
What was your IQ?
138 was what I was tested last time. Yeah.
138?
Yeah,
wow.
138 as a young
If anybody
kid.
doesn't know that, I think 138 is like borderline genius.
Yeah, it's kind of on the thing. It's something I don't like to throw around a lot because I don't want people to kind of like view me as that kind of person.
I didn't even know I was friends with the genius. Well, apparently I am. Wow, fantastic.
Well, it's sort of like having a Ferrari without a steering wheel, though, with ADHD when you're high functioning. So it's I can go and I can break down complex problems, and I'm very curious about things, and I dive into things, and I can know every little detail of it. But I'm trying to tell you every detail of it. And I didn't have the communication skills when I was younger to kind of pass that on. And in fact, when I used to try to like tell people stuff that I learned, So just to give you a cool story, just to kind of
no, dude, your analogy made me laugh because I'm thinking about a Ferrari without a steering wheel, and I was like, I'd like that.
Just to give you a little idea, like when I was younger, I used to get grounded a lot, right?
Yeah, who didn't?
A lot. But I was
we were in the 80s.
Especially naughty.
We were all getting grounded.
And especially naughty as a kid, just kind of high energy, high intellect, so dissecting insects and eating berries, like everything I possibly could, dude, I was all about it, right? And my parents, when they would ground me, they'd take away all my toys, they'd take away all my music and stuff like this, because I used to hide out in music a lot as well.
Right.
It used to be like one of the things, I just put my headphones on and ignore people and just zone out to Led Zeppelin or, Guns N' Roses and stuff.
Dude, I love Led Zeppelin.
Living inside the music.
Wow.
So they used to take away all my stuff that I knew I liked. But my mother was a really avid reader, and she was really keen on me learning to read. I learned how to read at a very young age. And they would leave all the reference books. So the medical journals, the encyclopedias, the how to do just about anything, like how to fix things and stuff, they leave all these inside my room.
Wow.
So as I was grounded, and I was grounded quite frequently, I just literally dove into these things.
Shit.
And sort of, I see the world in a weird way. Like some people would like see a car go by and they'd be like, oh, that's a beautiful Mustang. And I would see it kind of like the way it would be in like Popular Mechanics, when you take out the picture and they blow it up and you can see like the tire, and then you can see the brakes, and you can see the brake system, you can see the spring. Like I could see these things in real time, like kind of, it's a weird thing. I don't know how to explain it any more than that.
No, that's a pretty good breakdown.
And it's sort of just coming from this stuff. So I've always been curious how things work. I've always been curious about taking things apart, seeing how they function. And this is what helped me later on in life. In the beginning, it wasn't so good, because a lot of kids saw me as a know-it-all. I was quite poor to begin with. We had a really hard life. My parents worked really, really hard, and they didn't really achieve a whole lot.
What did your parents do?
So my father used to work in factories. He used to be a supervisor for a company that makes like screens for computer screens, like NCR and things like that.
Computer screens were already then?
Yeah. So like NCR for like machines and stuff like that. You know, the old chromatic screens and things like that, like all that kind of stuff. He was a plant operator and a supervisor there.
Okay.
My mother, for a good portion, was a home mom. She took care of me and my brothers and sister for a while.
Punishing you.
Kind of, yeah. Putting up with us, I think, is more appropriate. You know, like, and then eventually, my father actually tore his shoulder and dislocated his shoulder, so he wasn't able to work for a long time.
How did you do
and
that?
My mother,
On
we
the
were
job?
wrestling. No, so it was actually my fault. When I was a kid, we were wrestling with him.
Yeah, you're gonna have to dive into that.
Because we were all about Hulk Hogan and wrestling. I love WrestleMania.
Oh, dude, awesome. Yes. WWF before WWE.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we were wrestling, and I put him in the thing, and it popped it out for him. And he'd injured it before when he was in the Army.
How old were you?
I don't know, 5, 6, something like that.
You were 5 and you hurt your dad?
Yeah.
Problem.
And then my mother had been the entire time like taking these courses on hotel management and stuff like that. So she ended up having to go to work, and she worked at Holiday Inn as the head of housekeeping for a while when my dad was laid up and stuff until he got back to work. And then he started working for a company called Marietta, and they put like shampoo inside of bottles for hotels, you know, like the little bottles of shampoo and soap and stuff, like a packaging company. So he went there and he started working there as an operator once he got back. I eventually worked at this place as well. It was the worst job I ever had.
The worst job you've ever had?
It was the worst job I ever had, even worse than Navy.
That's a tall claim. I mean, I've had some pretty bad jobs.
Yeah,
that's
it was
the worst.
Bad job. I had to sit, basically, for me being ADHD, you know, my job was to sit on the first job they gave me was to make a stamp, and I had to stamp the boxes.
Oh, Jesus.
And that was 8 hours a day, stamping the boxes.
Wow,
And
by hand?
By hand. So you had to make the stamp, and then you put it on, you stick it on the box, and that was it. That was my whole job for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, this is not even a job anymore, guys. Like, you would never hear of something like this.
And then I got promoted after a month.
Wow.
Woo, because I could stamp the box correctly, you know.
They were like, wow, this guy's got some brain cells.
Dude, he's like perfectly.
They found out about that 138
Then I had to sit
IQ.
on the line, and the bottles would come from the line, and they'd fill up a box, and it was a scale. And when it got to a certain weight, I had to catch it, scale it, put it aside, and put the other one back in. But I would talk. Like ADHD would kick it. It was such a boring job. I would always be bullshit, and my box would be overflowing all the time and everything like this.
Okay.
And my boss tried to like keep me happy and stuff like that, so he let me be the guy that fills up all the hoppers instead. So all the empty bottles, I would come with the bags and fill them in the end of the machine. So we'd go through, and then let me walk around and engage with everybody and everything like that. But I left. That job was kind of like end game for me where I was at. I just went to the Navy after that. That was sort of, I couldn't do this anymore. I didn't want to do this for the rest of my life. My dad was a supervisor at that time, you know, in the same place. But
so he was like your boss?
He wasn't my boss. He was on a different line. They put me on a completely different side of the building.
They didn't want family drama.
And it just wasn't for me. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how he could do it, you know, himself, you know. And I slept around a couple people.
Did you ever ask him that question? Be like, Dad, how do you do this shit?
I don't think he thought he had a choice. I'm going to be honest with you. So my dad never saw himself as being an intelligent guy, you know, but he worked kind of hard. He did.
That's not even intelligence. That's like self-worth.
Yeah, I don't think he ever kind of saw any of that. Like after the military, losing the military, and like when he hurt his shoulder and stuff, you know, he stopped kind of.
So he was in the military too?
Yeah, my mom and my dad both were in the Army. I was actually born when my parents were in the Army, you know.
Actually, you're an Army brat.
Yeah, I was born on Fort Eustis in Virginia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Langley Air Force Base, actually.
Fantastic. Dude, I didn't know about
that. And then my mom's from New York State. My dad was from out West Coast. And then...
California?
Yeah, he grew up in Los Gatos, California, and near Battleground, Washington as well, where it is.
Wow. So, that's a hard change, man.
Yeah, very different cultures between the two of them, you know.
Totally, man.
And my dad had a pretty hard life as well. You know, like his brother went to Vietnam when he was younger.
Okay.
And he went to this church school. The nuns used to beat the hell out of him all the time and stuff like that.
Wow.
He worked as a carny for a long time, so he got into drugs and biker gangs and all that kind of stuff. And he joined the military to kind of sort that out. I actually have an older brother and older sister that I haven't met physically. I've talked to them on the phone.
So
and
wait,
stuff.
what was the real reason why you joined the Navy? You really hated this job that much that you said, "Fuck it, Army."
I just didn't want to be the. So right after I left that job, I quit the job because it was boring.
Right.
And I couch surfed a bit with some friends and stuff like that.
You weren't living at home.
No, I'd bounced out already by that time.
Why? What happened?
Around like 14. So when we were talking about the ADHD medication and stuff like that, it caused me. It's pretty hard to talk about. I'm not gonna lie. So it's
okay. Take your time.
like, so going back when we did all the testing and they found out I had a high IQ and stuff like that, you know, I'd gotten in trouble, gotten on probation and stuff, and they were trying to work out like what's the best way to kind of deal with John Miller. Like why does this kid able to go into a classroom and score a 99 on a test and set the curve, but we can't get him to do his homework and we can't get him to shut up in class and we can't get him to sit down. And this was, like you said, there was a bit of controversy with ADHD and stuff. It was between the time where they didn't want to medicate everybody, but they kind of were pushing it on some people. So I did all the whole range of the testing and stuff. And they put me on about 3 or 4 different medications to try to find the right one, you know.
Trial and error.
Yeah, and one would make me like really, really kind of like super hyper, you know, like.
Okay, my brother was on that one, yeah.
And then they tried to do like, they thought maybe I was bipolar because of the other medication, you know. And then the last one they put me on, it kind of turned me off. It made me
mellow.
I guess not mellow. Apathy. Apathy, I guess the word. Like I just didn't care about anything. I didn't feel. It was literally, they took my spark away.
Wow.
They took away like all the spark. And I was trying to like make my own money in the summertime, working on a farm and things like that. And something had happened. I do remember actually now. I went to a program called Great Kids. It was in between 6th grade and 7th grade.
Okay.
There is, in Great Kids.
Middle school.
Not a middle school. It was more like a summer program to get you acclimated to coming to high school, so junior high. So to go from there to junior, and it was during the summer program. And it was like 3 or 4 hours a day or something. And we'd integrated with people that were from different elementary schools. You know, so I was dealing with people I didn't deal with before previously. But we were all the bad kids, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, so I started getting exposed to people who I didn't know for my whole life. You know, they were kind of new, but they were the same kind of people I was. So there's a lot of friction.
Okay.
And we had gone to this court and played basketball or something during that day. And my dad had bought me this Florida Marlins shirt for my birthday. You know, July 16th, I remember. Okay. And then like 3 or 4 days later, we went on this trip to go to the waterfalls and things. And this kid had thrown my hat into the water and everything. Oh. And I was on my last stand, like basically with the probation officer and stuff, of like kind of if you get in trouble again, like we're taking you away from your parents and you're just gone. You know, you're gonna go to a juvie home and all this kind of stuff. You know, like that's how bad I was at that point in time. You know, so internally I'm having this wanting to fight, dude, like wanting to lash out, wanting to wreck these kids. You know, and I couldn't do anything. And the next day we'd gone, and this kid had thrown my hat into the water. I couldn't get my hat out from the water. We'd gotten on the bus and gone home or something. And then the next day the kid had done like the same kind of thing, and they were throwing his elbows in when we were playing basketball. And then the teacher didn't see that, but the second I pushed the kid, you know, then they saw that.
Yeah, it always happens.
Then they saw that.
Shit always happens.
And
that's terrible.
They blew up on me. I ended up going to speak to the vice principal. They took away all my privileges for the rest of the summer. I couldn't participate in the program anymore. They were going to call my probation officer or whatever. And I went home, and I went to the farm that I normally worked at, like in the helping milking and doing hay and stuff like that. And I remember the farmer used to have this shotgun that was kind of set around on the side next to where the milking parlor was. And whenever the coy dogs would come out and mess with the cows, he'd kind of shoot out there with it.
Right.
And I grabbed this thing and I walked off into the woods with it. I had grabbed a shell, and I can still kind of like I can still kind of taste the taste of like what this thing was. I could taste the taste of hay and like iron in my mouth. Like when you were asking me to come on and talk about
metal,
this stuff, I remember this taste because I put this shell inside the shotgun. I was ready to go, put it in my mouth, pull the trigger, nothing happened.
But a shotgun.
A shotgun, break action New England shotgun.
That's a hard task. I mean, that's I think Kurt Cobain used a shotgun, didn't he? Or that's a tough order, you know, because that means you really had to be committed to it. I mean, like a revolver is something easy because you can put it up to your head. A shotgun, it's like you're holding it here, and you have to really know that you're going to do that. You pulled the trigger.
I pulled it. Nothing happened.
You pulled the trigger. Like, dude, I have fucking goosebumps, bro. I mean, you seriously made the commitment to pulling a trigger on a shotgun to blow your brains out.
I didn't care. I didn't feel anything. I was so tired of all that. I felt that everything I did was wrong. Everything that was going on. Like,
dude, my heart's out to you, man. I'm sorry. No, take it out there, man. I mean,
it's hard to even talk about this stuff, you know.
Honestly, I didn't even know that. Yeah, continue, man. I'm sorry, dude.
And like the worst part about it is like you would think that when something like that would happen, like internally you would say, you know, like, oh, God saved you or something like that, and it didn't happen that way. I was kind of like, you see, you can't even fucking kill yourself right.
Fuck.
You can't even do that right.
It's
You know,
like
like
you felt like you were a fuck up failure.
And,
You were a failure at even taking your own life.
yeah, and you know, continuously throughout life, this sort of. So this is sort of what led me joining the military eventually. You know, I went into foster care a little bit after that. I told so. Shortly after that whole incident, they took me off the medication. The probation officer had had enough.
What did your mom and dad think when you said that you're going into the military? Were they happy about it or were they sad about it?
I didn't really pay attention, to be honest with you.
Okay, you just
I
joined
think
and you said, listen, it's either that or I'm going to kill myself.
It was kind of by that time, by the time I decided to go to the military, I was off on my own already. You know, I'd already left home, I had stayed with an aunt for a little while, I'd been on my own, I couch surfed at my buddy's house. I think the recruit, eventually, earlier I'd started and I said I wanted to go when I was like 16 or 17 in the Navy. I went and talked to the recruiter.
DEP program, delayed entrance.
And then I kind of gave that up with everything, you know, with not finishing high school and stuff. You know, I didn't finish the high school, I left high school, went to work in that job and stuff.
So you didn't get your diploma from
I didn't get
high
my
school.
diploma from high school.
So then you had to get your GED.
Yeah, while I was in the Navy.
It's like John Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
Your
So-
GED buddies.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And yeah, so the recruiter showed up at my buddy's house though. And I have a feeling actually that his mom was the one who actually called the recruiter and said, come pick him up. You know, I have this feeling because he knew that I wanted to go in the Navy. And Chad's mom, Mrs. Mulvihill, thank you very much if you were that person.
Thank you.
Because I wouldn't be the person I am today if that hadn't happened.
Dude, you wouldn't have the life that you're living right now. You wouldn't be sitting here. You wouldn't probably be alive, dude.
Yeah, and that was like the first time I actually kind of like taking control of myself. Like it was the first time where I made a decision for myself that wasn't like, it was an opportunity to kind of do something better. You know, like I knew that it helped my father when he kind of left California and was in trouble and everything when he joined the Army, you know, and my mother kind of like helped break herself out of the shell. You know, when she joined the military, I had uncles and stuff there. I had a really strong kind of like lineage of people in the military and things like that, and they kind of helped make them men, I guess, or women,
right,
you know?
Right.
And that's sort of like what I wanted to do, is kind of like do something for myself that's outside of myself.
Sweet.
I didn't realize that it's actually part of this concept I have of the wanting to serve other people, you know, not just my country, but like other people, you know. I didn't just want to play army man and shoot people, but I also wanted to be the guy handing out food, you know, or when you see like floods, you know, like not in a hippie way, but just kind of like the way that I saw like the military was sort of like, you see the National Guard commercials and stuff, and they're like helping people with floods and things like that, you know.
Right on.
And that was more.
But those are the real.
Myself,
for me, I always thought, you know, the real heroes were the guys with guns, busting down doors. In reality, now what I see heroes is when I see someone doing aid for children, going into countries where children have absolutely nothing, and you got a man that goes out there on the ground and feeds children when they don't have fucking food. That is a fucking warrior. That is a soldier. And for me, a true warrior for me is a warrior of light. A warrior of light is someone that's going to help someone in any way possible, no matter what it takes. And that is what I learned getting out of the military, and I learned that later on in life. You know, we fantasize on people jumping out of helicopters and jumping out of planes and, you know, riding on rib boats really fast. That's cool. Those are fast action jobs, and hey, no offense to anybody that does those jobs. Great, more power to you, and thank you for your service. But for me, a real warrior is going to go out there, get boots on the ground, put their life in, and put those people above themselves. That for me is a warrior of light, and I think we need more of those people. Yeah. I think
I knew quite a few PJs, you know, the parachute jumpers with the Air Force, because my A school when I was in the Navy, I was a cook. And I worked for an admiral actually, but my Navy school was where they actually taught the PJs, you know, these parachute jumpers, and their job is to rescue people.
Yeah,
you know? Like they are,
shout out to those guys,
Navy
man.
SEALs, but their job is to kind of like jump out of planes and like literally
save
rescue
them
people
when they're behind their enemy lines.
And usually with very little equipment, very little food and stuff, you know, and like they love it, you know, and they're also the ones you see when you see the Coast Guard like dropping people off and stuff, you know. So
True.
The corpsmen and stuff, I knew a lot of corpsmen as well who work with the Marines. They're not even allowed to carry weapons, and they're running around, you know, like giving CPR in the middle. These people that kind of put themselves in harm's way. I really enjoyed those people, and I really was inspired by that kind of thing, you know. So joining the Navy was sort of my reason why I wanted to go.
So that was one of my questions for you, and that one I want to know for myself, because I don't know how you felt about it, but when you joined the military and you made the decision and you go, describe to us how it felt being on the bus or the airplane. Like, I had to take a plane first, get down there, then you get on the bus. It's like a freaking convict bus, and then you kind of show up to Great Lakes. What they call it, great mistakes.
Great mistakes, yeah.
Great mistakes. You get off the bus and they're just coming out, fucking yelling and screaming, hooting and hollering, and you're like, what the fuck did I do?
That shit didn't bother me.
Yeah, like tell us your intake, because for me, I always had a funny story about how it happened with me, you know, with mic problem. Yeah. So tell me about how, like, for me, what when I got off the bus, we were put in a big room, massive, you know, intake room, and you had to say your social security number, you know, and basically say who you were. And if you said O, for example, instead of 0, I didn't know you had fucking alphabet in your social security. What are you, something special? You know, you're hearing all this crap, and honestly, I would be like laughing inside.
I did laugh. Like,
you're laughing? Like, I'm just laughing, going, what the fuck is wrong?
The funniest part about that whole situation is when the recruiter took me. Yeah, he's like, he took me to the house. So I told you, he picked me up from my friend Chad's house, literally.
Right.
Went to my parents' house. Said, here's all of his shit. Grab your ID, grab your shoes, grab this pair of underwear, socks, whatever.
Right.
And he took me directly to the Holiday Inn in Syracuse, 35 minutes away. He checked me in, and he had a flight the next morning for me to go. Like, he was going to make sure that I wasn't going to fuck off, you know?
Wow.
And the only thing I had were my headphones on, and literally, like, I put the headphones on the very first song, and I swear to God, was Highway to Hell, dude. That doo-doo-doo, like, the very instantly. So I already knew I was screwed, you know?
Oh, okay.
I was exhausted, though, because I spent the whole night, like, how the hell am I going to get out of this hotel? Like, I don't want to do this, you know, kind of. I do, but I don't, you know, like, because now they're, like, making me do, so just like you, forcing me to come on today, you know, like.
I did.
So quickly, I wanted to, like, give my time and tuck myself out of it, and, like.
I gave him 48 hours notice, just to be fair. I mean,
and then which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm very appreciative of, because it's something that needs to be done. We all need accountability buddies sometimes to help do things, you know.
Go back to boot camp.
Yeah, we're going back. So on the plane, we get there, we get to boot camp, and I was laughing the entire time. Like, I thought it was funny, so I immediately did more push-ups than anybody did. I was literally pushing floor the entire time during boot camp.
Okay.
I watched.
Did they make you say 1 petty officer, 2 petty officer, 3
everything,
petty officer? You
dude,
say
everything all the time, and they caught me saying "fuck off" under my breath. And, like,
really?
I was still for a little bit, up for a while, not part of the program.
Wow.
But then they started challenging, like, a little bit more, like, so I had to go through the school where you sit down and go through classwork and everything to get my GED and stuff. You know, so it's like I couldn't go right into normal.
Wait a minute. They let you join without having the GED?
Yeah. So they had like a little program that I had to go to, and I had to sit for like 12 or 13 days where they taught us high school basically all over again. And then you had to take a test and everything to that. So they gave you a waiver.
So I knew there was a fat camp.
That was not a fat camp. This is like
no. I knew there was one because I had to be a yeoman for the day. Mm-hmm. You know what a yeoman was?
Yeah.
Okay, the one that, like, delivers the mail.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the yeoman, but I had to do the yeoman's job because the yeoman was sick. And I'll never forget, they said, hey, you have to be really squared away because they'll stop you and they'll fuck you over. And I'm like, how hard is it to deliver the mail? It is, man, because you have to salute to the right people. There was a fucking, all these ranks, you have to know who, what. Anyway, I get to this fucking barrack, you know, this different barrack that I've never been to because, you know, you have yours and that's all, you know? Mm-hmm. Go to this other one and there's a whole bunch of fat people just doing burpees and 8-count bodybuilders. You remember those 8-count bodybuilders?
Making it rain, brother. Making it rain.
But that's what he said. Making it rain. So making it rain, just to let you guys know, is when your body heat combined with all the other 199 bastards that you're training with, you know, and you're bunking with, have to produce so much heat that the humidity from the what would you call that?
So
What would
they
you call
made
that?
us
Your
wet our
sweat?
towels. Yeah, they made us wet our towels. All of our
Right.
towels, soak them, put them under the doors, and then just start exercising until
Right.
it condensates
Condensates, yes.
on the roof,
And
and then the rain comes down.
then which
and
is
then
like
he would
your
say,
body.
"Give me the rain, give me the rain."
Make it rain,
And they would
yeah.
call you, and you'd be puking, and then
Yeah.
he'd make you clean up the puke while you're doing it,
Yeah.
and still be pushing up while you clean it. It was awesome now, but at the time it was not awesome.
Fantastic.
It was what I needed though. Like I needed to be broken down, like completely, like get rid of it completely out of my head, and not have any control over anything, not have to think about trauma, not have to think about past experiences, and just kind of live in that moment and learn to do exactly what you're told, how you're told.
Exactly.
And
That
once
was-
I did that,
That was one thing I actually liked about the military, is that the military told you, you know how to brush your teeth? We all said yes, but you don't know how to do it the Navy way. Everything had a Navy way. Tying your tie, doing your buckle, gig line. You remember that shit? Your buckle?
you didn't notice my leg line is still.
like honestly, you know, mine is shaving. Like that shit, I can't fucking hang. I can't hang with that. I really honestly think that everybody should have a little bit of a boot camp. I think it was really beneficial. I still do my socks the Navy way, and I still fold my shirts the Navy way. You know, with the little smiley face. Mm-hmm. I still roll my socks.
I fold blankets still the same way with the Nabiscos.
With the Nabisco?
Yeah.
Fuck off!
Yeah, I still do that as well.
I still know how to do it,
Yeah.
and I do it for my son because sometimes he'll see it, and I'll be like, "Oh, let me show you how to fold a blanket." You know?
Yeah. So I still do that kind of
Crazy,
stuff.
man. Cool.
Yeah, so the Navy was kind of really cool through boot camp and stuff, like I said, because it sort of, what it did for me is it took away, everybody was on equal footing there. There were no bullies.
Right.
There were no upper class, lower class. You were all equal scumbags to them. You know, like you're all the same. You know.
Right.
And sort of being on that level program, it kind of allowed me to it took away the friction of like having to make decisions. It took away the friction of having to like fit in with people and do everything because we're all equally going through something together. This is like where brotherhood started forming.
Exactly.
You know, like we were
Yeah.
all. You know, you didn't think about it like you see they're screaming at you and yelling at you and they're being evil bastards and stuff, and you don't realize what they're trying to do is force you guys all to come together and hate him collectively as a group.
Right.
And once you do that, you form these bonds. You know, they kind of did things. And actually, we ended up loving our instructors. They became absolutely amazing towards the end of boot camp and stuff. You
Because
know,
I think that they were actually trying to break you down so they could build you up their way.
That's exactly
and
what
once
they
they did that, you all came together like one. You know, when you first start marching, you're out of step. You're hearing the clink, 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 clink on different beats. By the time that you're ready to do that passing out, you know, it's just click, click, click in unison. And honestly, the sound and that 1, 2, 3, oh, it's like, dude, it gives me goosebumps to think about that shit. And I'm like, man, we were like well-oiled fucking machines, you know, the pivots, the points, the 180 turns, everything super precise with ultimate perfection. And I'll have to say to the Navy, you know, these drill instructors are just amazing. They do a great job at bringing people together and making sure that you are absolutely in tune and in step, man. It's incredible.
And they taught you how to be a good human being. And believe it or not, I learned empathy from there as well. Like learning how to feel. You know, people don't really think about empathy. I see your face as well. You don't learn like that.
I'm not following. Go ahead, tell me how you got
empathy
that.
is being able to see things from other people's point of view.
No, I know what empathy is, but
so-
how did the Navy teach that to you?
When you're looking at other people that are struggling, that are trying to make it through, you know, like you feel what they're feeling because you've been through it, you know. So for instance, our division 103, we could look back at the next ones coming up, and you feel what they're coming through, you know, like, and you know how like you get a little bit more, they're a little bit more lax with you the farther you go along. Like when you first come in, they're really whatever, you can't talk or anything.
Yeah.
And like when there are other ones, we see the new recruits coming in, and we're in like week 8 or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and like. I remember the people were talking trash to us. They're like, "Oh, you bum recruits," and like I remember our group was the opposite. We were kind of like, "Yo, you guys got this. Come on, keep it," you know. And like, we had like a really good RPOC that was kind of like really kept us together. you know,
You are a
and
pop, man.
he kept us together and kind of kept us always thinking positive and everything, you know. So we, as a group, 103, the way we kind of did things was like we tried to build people up, you know, and tried to support other people, you know. So like it was very interesting kind of for us. So like that's what I mean with empathy, like feeling what other people feel, and kind of because you've been in their shoes and stuff.
Did you have a position like special within the?
I had a yellow rope for a little bit. But they took it away.
Okay.
Not because of my fault directly. Well, technically, yes, everything was my fault.
Okay.
But you know, people were talking and chit-chatting and stuff while we were in chow line, and I didn't stop them. So I got smoked, and they
Wow.
and they took away my rope. But
I was an APO. I was the athletic petty officer.
nice.
Yeah, I maintained that until I got caught arm wrestling. Get this, almost thrown out because they said that it was recruit to recruit contact.
I got the same, but we didn't get in trouble for it. And said,
Dude, we got in trouble because a guy ratted us out and I found out who it was and I wanted to kill him. And when I said, I'm going to kill you, apparently one of the instructors was there and was like, okay, you're sitting under the ladder, right? And I spent the whole day under the ladder. They let me eat lunch, I think. And then it was like, man, I thought, wow, I'm going up for, you know, review already, and I didn't even get in. You know, I was like, oh fuck, man. So it didn't even. I almost got kicked out before I even got in. So
yeah, we a bunch of us almost got in trouble because we had like a little jujitsu in the laundry room. You know, like
Really?
you know the little laundry room.
So you
used to have to go
actually
into.
really did recruit to recruit. Like I got
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this
we
bullshit
did
for
proper
nothing.
recruit, like,
we were just doing arm wrestling.
And I remember the senior petty officer coming in going, what the fuck are you Fruit Loops doing? Why are you guys touching each other? Are you guys in love with each other? You know, like, do we need to have some wedding? You know, like, it was very,
Oh, no.
It was funny, but like, yeah, they smoked us hard, dude, like
Wow.
that time. Like, but it was everybody, we would go, it was not Fight Club, it was just jujitsu-y kind of wrestling kind of thing, you know, like it was a good kind of competitive thing.
Did they ever give you a tornado? Did they ever tornado your space?
Dude, that was constantly, like every other day, dude, they screw everything up and mix your shit up with everybody else. And
Oh,
like,
they did that always?
read pictures from people's girlfriends and stuff like
Did
that.
they ever throw
and,
your
like,
mattresses out the window though?
Yeah, it was wintertime, dude. Like throwing
They
out
threw their
our
mattress
clothes,
out the window?
our,
They,
our
dude,
mattresses, our clothing,
We came back
everything.
from drill and I was like, yo, where's my fucking bed?
And it was because somebody did something stupid, like they used pen and like a red pen instead of a blue pen or something like that, and then everybody paid for it. You know, everybody did whatever, and like keeping everybody accountable kind of was there. You know, but yeah, the military was quite awesome for me to.
So when you graduated and you had to do the parade, and was your mom and dad there?
No,
So nobody came.
nobody came.
All right. And nobody came because they didn't know about it, or just like.
I don't think they could afford it to come, so they had other children to worry about and everything like
Okay.
that, and sort of
Cool,
we
man.
weren't in really great financial position to do stuff, you know. But it was all right for me. Like obviously I was sad and things like that a little bit, you know. But I was also
there's
like
so
really
many,
proud
there's
of
so many,
myself.
there's so many people out there that have their parents there, and it's like you've put this whole commitment to get through boot camp, and it's like when they don't show up, it's like, man, that hits hard. And not to condemn your parents for this, because I don't want to do that, but they knew your timeline, you know, and if they wanted to like push a little harder and save up for that trip, I mean, that would have been nice, dude. That would have been nice.
I would love to think about what ifs and everything like that, and it would have been nice. I don't want to put that pressure on them as well, because they had their own things too, you know, like
They were battling their own things.
You know, they had their own things they have to deal with, their own addictions. You know, my father gambled a lot, that kind of stuff. You know.
Oh wow, okay. Cool.
And my mother was working hard. You know, always found really hard to make ends meet, that kind of thing. You know, so
Bro, that's owning it right there,
it's
man.
sort of I understand. You know. Like even when I used to get my ass whooped and stuff, you know, I used to hate it. Like, you know, how come other kids don't get beat? How come other kids don't do this kind of stuff? You know, they don't go through this kind of thing. Later on in life, I learned kind of some of my mother's life was like, and it was way worse than what I got. You know, doesn't justify it, but I kind of understands kind of like where things are. But because I went through the childhood I went through and how I dealt with it, my daughter wants for nothing. You know, I don't. I do everything I can to make sure that she's taken care of and she can chase her dreams and, you know, as much as possible be to anything I possibly can. Sometimes work gets in the way.
Right.
My daughter sings, you know, up on stage. She's been in
Dude, I
junior
know,
Eurovision.
man. She went on Malta's Got Talent.
And the Junior Eurovision as well.
Yeah, and I watched it, man. It was, dude, I was like, yo, man, It's my boy's daughter, man.
And then what I love about her as well is like when she did Junior Eurovision, she didn't win. And I was more proud of her. Like she did a really great job with the song that she did and everything when she sang. She wrote it with her singing instructor. Her singing instructor wrote it, and they kind of made it together.
Sweet.
But when she didn't win, she was the first one to run over and congratulate the winner. I was more proud of that.
Sweet, bro.
Than I was the other part. She loves other people succeeding.
Man, that's
even though it's
freaking gem,
competitive,
dude.
and that was the most, the part that got my heartstrings the most. And then when she did Brillianti, they didn't.
That means you were a good dad, bro.
That's kind of like validation for us, something that I was missing when I was a kid, and I hope she appreciates it. I think she does, but I hope she appreciates that,
I
It's
know
like
she does, bro.
the work me and her mother do is to make sure that she never goes through what I did, And this is sort of where the first bits of success started coming out for me, is realizing, so joining the military, getting through boot camp, obviously moving to Italy, brand new country across the world. So I actually got second in my C school. So second place, so I got to choose my job, my billet basically, And
Dream sheet.
And there was 6th Fleet flag mess, 3-star admiral.
Wow, yeah. Right.
And it was in Gaeta, Italy. This beautiful, and I'd never been out of the country, never had a passport, so it was kind of like dream
Neither did
job.
I. Okay. Yeah, we were poor kids.
Passport was rich kids, and
Yeah. So my kid's got a passport when he was born. You know what I mean?
Mine too as well.
Like me, no passport. You know how I traveled? Military ID.
Yeah.
That was my passport.
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
So I flew to Gaeta, Italy.
Wow.
And it was sort of the best thing and the worst thing, if that makes sense. I had for the first time this incredible job that I earned, and it was the first time I was getting respect for something I did.
Right. Uniform, the whole nine.
Working, not just the uniform, but working in the culinary school and going through everything and actually earning through there. And because kitchens are chaotic, and then everything's on fire and it's always moving fast. ADHD didn't fuck me up. It was the one time where I was actually really good, because you have to pay attention to 5 things at once. So you don't have to sit there for one little thing,
Right.
Everything's burning, everything's on fire. So you also have to be systematic about everything, right? Mise en place. Everything needs to be prepared so that you can do things very correctly. So I learned to be very systematic and dice things properly and organize things so that when you had service, everything was quick. Whether it was setting up the omelet station and making sure we had enough things, making sure we had the right size spoons, all these systems and stuff started getting ingrained into my brain, to be efficient. And because I love to learn, and this was new, and it was this sort of area to focus my attention on, I went all into it, And I love cooking anyway. There's rules to cooking, but then you have opportunities to break the rules too.
Right.
So it's really kind of the perfect job for somebody with ADHD.
Did you bake as well?
I did a little bit of baking, but I was much more a proper cook. I preferred.
Because cooking, you say breaking the rules. You can add a little bit of spice.
Recipes,
Baking's
recipes,
you have to stick
science.
to the program.
Yeah,
dude.
So, baking is more chemistry. Very specific, sticking to it. You can bend a little bit, but this is why I like cooking so much more. There's basic rules and stuff.
Right.
Later on in life, I realized that I wasn't good to be a recipe machine, because once again, that's standardized. Do this recipe, you get this, then this, mother sauces. Instead, I like to focus on learning techniques.
Right.
Look at what's in season. Think about a flavor profile, and then kind of build from that.
Wow.
So technique-based and ingredient-based, based upon availability of ingredients, and then build from there.
And that's why you were cooking.
So
for
instead
the
of, that became my passion, is sort of playing and learning, and also it keeps things local. You can source local ingredients that are in season. They're not overly processed foods and stuff like that. It's very quick. It's the highest peak of nutrition if you're getting, pumpkins that are literally from
the field.
5 miles away from you, as opposed to a can of pumpkin in June. It doesn't make sense to make any, so
Exactly.
This kind of stuff, pushing out that. We were in Gaeta, Italy, which Italian food, I'm sorry, I love Spanish food and I love Mexican food, but Italian food is some of the best in the world.
I like Mexican food, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
But Italian food was good. I mean, they're a little bit more on fish side, so I'm not really a big fish fan, man, I'm not. But I like spaghetti, I like, no offense, Italians, I like Italian food, but I'm a taco guy, man.
I like tacos and stuff too. I really love them.
You like tacos?
What I liked about Italy was really cool is like from the regions how they go up. So up north, everything tends to be much more homogenized in one flavor. So long, slow cooking things.
Right.
You know, your bolognese and these kind of things. There are lots of ingredients that form one homogenized kind of taste.
Right.
Where if you go down south, it's less cooked, less things, and you can taste every individual element of these things. You know, and they tend to like highlight what's from the region, so you can taste the salt and the vegetables from the seaside, you know, and that kind of stuff, and the lamb, you know, these kind of things, you know. Like,
you do really love cooking still.
I love it. Yeah.
You still love cooking?
I still love cooking, yeah.
Even though
you can't tell like that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that, bro.
I can't tell. It's getting a little. It's getting a little softer on the edges.
We'll fix that.
Work from home is.
That's my job. Man. All right. So let's get back. So
I still love food. Still love nutrition. Yeah.
So you've been in the Navy. You go in. You make it happen. Let's say now. I know that we came to Malta. Now, let's bring it into Malta, because some very important things happened when we came to Malta. I'm just going to throw you in that and kind of let us know what happened when we touched ground with Malta. What changed in your life at that moment?
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy island. First off, our first trip to Malta was. Pretty, I don't even know how to explain it. It was very crazy. It was a very interesting time.
You can be vague. Don't specify.
No, I'm not going to be vague. It was definitely an eye-opening kind of place. You know, it wasn't like Ibiza where it was all kind of loud noises and like you didn't know anybody. You had this island of amazingly beautiful women, really nice music, beautiful architecture, the history and things like that here, but also like this banging nightlife. Crazy nightlife. Yeah. And on our very last night we were here, our mutual friend John Brown and his cohorts, we were all drinking together, and one of the guys in our group had run over to chase after these two girls that were walking down the street.
Yeah, John Brown liked to chase.
It wasn't John, it was the other one there. I forgot his name. Yeah, one of them anyway.
The short one that kind of looks like
Uncle
Fester?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was
Norris.
him. Yeah, they ran out to speak to this girl.
Oh, God.
And they were kind of hitting on her and smiling on her. And she was with this other woman. And we ended up going to the Hard Rock that just opened up at the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Hard Rock.
We went to the Hard Rock,
remember that.
all kind of sitting down. And this other girl that was friends with the ones that they were talking with, like, and I kind of were not sort of enjoying the rest of the festivities and stuff. I think I'd just gotten off of work, you know, so I wasn't like already sauced up and all as excited as the rest of the group were, you know.
Yeah.
And we were talking to each other. We didn't really kind of like each other at first. I don't think. This is my wife Mandy that I met anyway. This person that I'm speaking about, you know.
No way.
But yeah.
Okay, so you met at Hard Rock.
Well, we met in the middle of the street, but like we started talking once we got to the Hard Rock.
What's the middle of the street? Bay Street?
No. So we were. What was the name of that place? Huggins was the name of it.
Huggins.
Or Footloose. Huggins or Footloose? Footloose it was, right? Footloose in Portugal, yeah.
Footloose is still there.
Yeah, right across from Havana. They used to be there though, remember? Like whatever that one was. So that's where we were.
Footloose, Peppermints. It's kind of like they were facing each other.
Yeah, we're kind of in that sort of...
So you met in Portugal?
In Portugal, in the middle of the road, yeah. Well, our friends met in Portugal in the middle of the road, and we were sort of the third wheels that got drug along.
Who didn't meet there?
Yeah. All right. We went to Bay Street, and we went to the Hard Rock, and we had drinks there. We were all drinking and everything like that, and I went to buy everybody around, and I offered her to around, and I said, can I buy you a drink? And she's like, what makes you think that I can't buy my own drink? You know, she was very kind of aggressive, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I'm buying for everybody. You can have one or you don't have one. You know, I really don't care, you know, kind of.
Good for you.
And she's good. I'll take a triple Jack and Coke. And I don't know if you ever seen Wayne's World, you know, when he meets Cassandra and it's like, oh, Dreamweaver. Like in my head, like I was like, I love this woman. You know?
Yeah, okay.
You know, like, for me, I was like, that was it. You know, like we were gangster. And really funny enough, actually, as well, like as we got to drinking and hanging out and chatting.
That's when you knew?
That's when I knew. Fuck. She didn't know yet. I knew.
Wow.
Like I knew right there, like just kind of for whatever reason, from us talking and chatting and like, I felt very comfortable. In
love at first drink.
For me, totally. Even before the drink, though, I was kind of like digging her a little bit, you know. But like,
but she didn't like you.
I don't think so. No, not at first. But I think she just didn't like sailors in general. You know, she didn't like
but
this
she
whole...
went with you to Hard Rock, so she didn't.
But her friend went. But her friend was the one, so she wanted to hang out with her friend.
Okay, so her friend dragged her. So look,
she didn't want her to go by herself with a bunch of sailors, you know?
Okay.
So that was kind of her thing.
How many of you were you?
There's like 4 or 5 of us that were hanging
and how
out.
many?
Yeah.
With 2 girls?
Yeah.
So they were all fighting for her.
I don't know if they were fighting for it. It was just kind
Dude,
of, you know how it is.
I know Navy culture, man. They were all trying to impress in their own drunken way.
And even one guy was like, "Bro, you cock blocked me," you know, like, you fucking cock blocked me, dude. I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I wasn't even trying to do anything. It was very funny, you know. Like, and he didn't talk to me forever again. I can't remember.
Fuck him.
The other bro, yeah, that's kind of what I was a fucker, you know. It was a very funny story at that time. But while we were at the bar there, actually, we had met a short time afterwards when we came back again. So that first time we just came for 4 days,
right.
And then we came down again another time when our ship was in the dry docks.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember it.
And then we hung out quite a bit then.
We went twice.
Yeah.
I was on restriction once, so.
Yeah, I got on restriction a little bit after that from partying in Malta a little too hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But while we were in Malta the second time there, we went to Hard Rock again, funnily enough.
Right.
And the guy that owned Pharaoh's Bar originally.
What's Pharaoh's?
Pharaoh's is where now the Irish bar is now, across from Peppermint Park. You know the Irish pub that's there?
I know nothing about Pachaville. I don't go.
Yeah. So
I don't
across
even
from
walk through
Burger King area, there was a place called Pharaoh next to Peppermint Park, the one you were talking about.
All right, Peppermint Park, I know.
Yeah, the one that's in front of it. It used to be called Pharaoh's. Now it's an Irish pub.
But wait, and then they made it Nordic. Was it Nordic after?
No, Nordic is way down.
Oh fuck.
No, anyway, it's just the main square there. So there's Peppermint Park, Burger King, and then something else.
Okay.
But the guy that owned it there at the time was drinking in the Hard Rock. And he said to Mandy and I, you know, like, how long have you guys been married? Or he said, no, he said, when is the date?
Okay.
We're like, what do you mean? He's like, when are you guys getting married? Like, you know.
How long have you known each other?
So the 4 days, and then maybe it's been like 6 months, right? And then maybe like a month or so.
So you met her when you came here for like a 4-day stint?
Not even 4 days, the last night.
Okay, and then you came back for the SRA, like the ship rebuild, right? The refit. And then you had, what, how long were we here for? What, like?
9 months.
9 months, okay, cool.
Something like that, 9 months we were here for.
All right, so we were here for 9 months. 9 months?
Yeah, I think was it 9 or 6? I can't remember, it was a long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe 6, not 9.
I think it was longer, maybe, but you might be right, it might be only 6 months. Okay. I can't remember anyway.
Okay, so you came, but is this the first time? Because remember, I didn't get to go first time. I came second time that we came to the SRA.
I think I only came once. Yeah, so the first time. So.
Oh wow.
I only came once for that refit. Yeah.
No.
It was 6. It must have been 6 months then.
6, yeah, dude.
6 months after that.
No, 9, no.
It was there. I was there for a minute.
Then we went out and we did that, you know, Iraqi freedom.
Yeah.
And then we were out doing donuts in the middle of the sea.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
that
was 6 months.
Yeah.
That was long, dude.
That was a long time.
All right, so you meet Mandy, and by the way, you know, this is just for you, you know, no offense or anything, but a lot of the guys on the ship, no names, they talked a lot of shit about you, man. I'm gonna say, like, they're like, oh, you know, with the Maltese girl, it's never gonna last. What the fuck are you gonna do? Live in Malta? Well, guys, if you're watching this podcast, it comes up. Well, guess what? Boom. We both living in Malta.
24 years last week.
24
years we've been married last week.
Man, 24 years. So for all you guys that talk shit about John going out, being with the woman that he said, he claimed it, he said, listen, this is the woman I'm gonna marry, and we were all like, no way, dude, you're not gonna marry this woman. Like, what, are you crazy? 24 years, rocking it out. Congratulations on that. Fantastic.
I called my mother the night that I met her, actually, because when we were getting back to the ship, I called my mom.
Serious shit.
And I told her, and my mom told Mandy as well.
Yeah.
And I told my mother that, and she said, call me in the morning when you're sober, and we'll talk. And she hung up the phone on me.
Word,
you know? But I knew. She didn't know. Mandy didn't believe it, you know, and everything else, you know. But like for whatever, I knew, like right away. She was the first person that made me feel like I could be myself 100%. You know, and she kind of highlighted like some of the stuff that I always thought that like nobody saw in me. You know, like she knew I was smart, but she also knew I needed a little tough love every now and then, kind of give me some direction. So, towards the end of my naval career, when it wasn't so easy, you know, when it got kind of comfortable and we started drinking and partying a little too much and doing some crazy stuff and whatnot, I kind of lost. Obviously, working for an admiral, there's certain exposure you have to information and things like that, you know.
Right.
My partying sort of interfered with my ability to maintain that kind of clearance and stuff, you know. So I got sent to a really crappy duty station to kind of as punishment. And it was unaccompanied. Literally 7 days after getting married, you know, this kind of all happened.
Holy cow.
When that happened, Mandy could have bounced. Like, I can't even imagine what happened, you know, inside of her head, because she just got married to this guy, you know, and then all of a sudden I have to go away for 9-10 months to go to this duty station. She can't come along. And she could have, I mean, she had her way out.
She came to Gaeta.
She came to Gaeta, she moved, she left her family, she came here.
What?
You know, she stayed with me beforehand, we got married, and literally when we came back to Gaeta, it was like within 7 days, you know, I got captain's mast and everything for being a jackass and doing the stuff.
Right.
I wasn't able to work with the Admiral anymore.
And she stayed with you through thick and thin.
She's been the most ride or die bitch I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, literally, like, she kicked my ass for it, don't get me wrong. She didn't take it easy. It hasn't been...
She's a Maltese woman.
Yeah. She didn't just kind of like take it as a softie or anything like that. I spent most of the rest of my life trying to... own up to it and kind of take it. And
fucking owning it right now,
because of it, you know, because of my actions and stuff, though, like, she's given me like a reason to stand up, you know. And she was always like, when I do right, she's there. She's the first one to let people know too, you know, like, so she doesn't let me get down on myself. She doesn't let me get sad and things, you know, and I've tried to do right by her since then, you know.
So they say that there are people out there that are guiding lights, and there are also people that make you feel like you want to be a better man. So she was actually both of those people for you.
She brings the best version of me out, whether it's through kicking my ass or holding me up when...
That's what you need in a partner.
Or holding me up when I need to be held up, you know, like without judgment. Sometimes I feel like she's being judgy, but if I actually sit down and really listen, it's always out of love. It's always out of place of, you know, kind of...
Bro, you're married. You're being judged every single day, my friend. And let me tell you something. That's for all the other married people. If you feel that you're not being judged, you are. But that's not in a bad way, man. We're going to judge each other, man. We're going to be pains in the asses for one another. And I believe that healthy relationships, they know how to overcome those things. And these little hiccups, these are natural things in life. If you don't argue and you don't have anything to bicker about, then you really don't really have of real life, you know. You gotta have these hiccups along the way. It's what makes life interesting, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely overcoming. So she was one of those ones that kind of helped me kind of see things that happen. You know, you can either get down on yourself and you can whine about it and you can live inside like and say woe is to me and that kind of thing, or you can get your shoes up, say this is what it is, and do something about it, you know.
Right.
And she was always kind of like, there's no time to cry, get up and start doing something about it, you know. And she's but she wouldn't like be very direct in saying it. She has this very clever way of kind of like saying things that makes me feel this way, right? I don't know how to explain it anymore, but a way of questioning or a way of speaking or tone, you know. So I don't remember where we were going with this, like, because I've just kind of, I could spend a whole day speaking about her and everything.
So not to keep you on that subject so long, what we're gonna do is we're gonna track into, now she finds out you did something stupid. Yeah. Now you're gone. She could have bounced, man. And,
she had her right, and by all means she should.
She gets huge props for that. She doesn't. What happens when you're said and done? Then what happens? You go to this duty station. Now you're done from the duty station. Yep. What then? What happens?
So I went back home to my mom's house to hang out.
She went back to New York.
Yeah, I went back to New York, and then she flew into JFK. You know.
So she came to New York.
Yeah, she came to JFK.
Oh wow, cool.
Like she came to JFK after I checked out. And actually, a very funny story. We'll have that one day about her entry into America, which was quite funny.
Why?
So you know how they fill out the forms, the paperwork and everything. You know, so like, are you coming to be a prostitute? Are you coming to sell drugs? You know.
Oh shit.
Obviously, being Maltese, She's
offended?
Not offended, but very sarcastic about the whole thing. You know, she's like, seriously.
She wrote she was a prostitute?
No. So they're like, you fill out the form, you check it, and then there's somebody that sits there and they talk to you about it, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. And he's like, are you coming? And he's reading over the thing. You know, are you bringing any drugs? She's like, no. And it's a long flight. You know this. I don't know if you've flown back. You've flown back before, like 9 hours, something like that. You know, it's
of
like.
Of course I've flown back, yeah.
Checking out. And then he's like, how did you come to Malta, or how did you come from Malta to New York City?
Airplane.
And she's like, are you fucking serious?
No, the flight.
And he's like, yeah, I'm serious. And she's like, well, I was on my little island of Malta, and I thought, New York is so beautiful, so I built myself a little raft, and I floated all the way here.
She said that. Wow. TSA was totally fucking happy about that.
Post 9/11, right? So this is like when they're like, oh, you know, hardcore about it, you know?
Oh, no.
And they were going to basically send her back at one point in time. Like, she'd been so rude and everything.
Yeah?
But then this really nice lady had come over and had seen, like, she was frustrated and she was tired and everything. And she's like, okay, come with me. And she's like, I just got done, like, with all that. She thought she was going to kick her out. She was talking to her. And she's like, where are you from, ma'am? She's like, I'm from Malta. And the lady goes, Malta, I love Malta. I went scuba diving there with my husband on our anniversary.
Oh, okay.
So she got into this little hook, and my wife is a salesman, you know, so instantly sort of she knows how to make rapport and things with people, you know. So instantly, she's talking, and this lady's walking her through, and she thought she was screwed because she has her bag and everything, and she just opened the door and says, welcome to America, you know, and opened the door, and I was standing right there, like it was the side door, so she got to go all the way out of customs.
Yeah, nice.
And like right there, you know, so that was her entry into America, you know, and then
Beautiful.
Then the John and Mandy show really started, you know, like it was kind of a fun adventure since then.
And then you just heard part 1 of the John Miller story. If you liked it, stay tuned for part 2 of the Own It podcast. If you're liking the content that we're putting out, then definitely like and subscribe to follow more podcasts to come. This is John Spartan with Own It. No one's coming.